soil nourishes all things on our planet. In China's myth of New Wa creating human beings, soil is even more endowed with magic. In reality, Chinese artists transform clay, a type of sticky soil, into vivid clay figures. Clay figure Zhang, the representative of this kind of folk art, is also a famous time-honored brand of Tianjin. These clay figureworks before Zhang Yu each has a history of hundreds of years. They were passed on through generations from his forefathers. As the descendant of clay figure Zhang Yu was born with great honor. Having inherited the family traditional craft, he wants to create clay figure works that meet up with modern aesthetics.
从第一代开始，我们就要求后代一定要有变化。你做的跟我一样，说明你没有什么出息。想成名、想成家、想有自己的地位，你就要与众不同，起码是要跟你父亲不一样才行。
To create a clay figure, the first step is to select the proper material. Not all kinds of clay are suitable for art creation. Throughout the city of Tianjin, only beneath this reed field, which is in the northwest part of the city, does the right clay for Zhang Yu hide. This area has also been the material source of Zhang Yu's family for generations. The rich deposit of clay here for the family of clay figure Zhang is a great gift of nature.
它的特点是含沙量比较少，有机物比较多，所以可有粘性、可塑性强。
Perhaps only clay figure craftsmen or geologists will study the types of soil with such care. Different types of soil have their own features. It appears as red, black, red or grey due to different components.
它的有机物比较多，那么它就呈灰色或者黑色；铁元素比较多，它就呈红色。
The forefathers of Zhang's family have made careful study about each type of soil. Through sculpting, they identified their different adhesiveness and tenacity.
我们天津一般叫红胶泥，就这种胶泥的可塑性比天津常见的黄胶泥和发灰黑色的胶泥要好一点，所以我们做泥塑一般采取的是这种稀胶的红胶泥，红色的胶泥，做我们的原料。
Above all, the collected clay would be spread out to let the inside water evaporate. 在太阳底下暴晒，完全的变成碎的干的这种泥粒。Looking through the incomplete notes his forefathers left, Zhang Yu has not found the explanation for the exposure process. Until detection was made, he realized that Tianjin was once a vast sea. Therefore, the water in the clay has a high alkalinity.
会直接影响到泥塑的效果，会使泥塑表面粗糙，甚至说皲裂，完全的风化掉。
The completely dry clay will then be filtered of rocks and grass roots. All the clay will be filtered through a sieve with 2mm holes. Though this looks fine now, it is only the start of the complicated process. The selective clay will be added with clear water. Melt the clay into slurry by stirring it, and then filter it with a flour sieve. Only water and the finest dirt can get through the sieve. After that, the impurities are completely separated. Precipitating for 24 hours, the original slurry separates into clay and water. Patiently bail out the water, and what's left is the material for clay figures.
像流动的巧克力一样，它整个是流动的液体的泥流，那肉眼肯定看不清它的颗粒，这个颗粒只能在放大镜下面才能看出它里面小沙粒的状态和样子。泥塑其实也是非常细腻的艺术品，有非常多的细节，原材料筛选的越细致，所做的作品也会更精细，还会增加作品的光滑度、光亮度，尤其是脸部的一些神情会有吹弹若破的效果。
The exquisite and smooth clay in front of Zhang Yu is actually still far from living up to the requirements for creating a clay figure. Clay is very easy to break into pieces when it is dry. This is a big problem. No matter how exquisite the clay figure is, it turns beyond all recognition when cracked. But there is a solution to the problem. Through long periods of practice, the forefathers of Zhang's family concluded that adding fibrous matter like cotton could improve the adhesiveness of clay. Clay and cotton are two different matters. It is laborious work to mix them together for 5 or 6 hours. Though other, more effective methods have also been tried, only manual beating can make the judgment and adjustment of the clay's adhesiveness easier. Thoroughly tempered, the fibers and clay are completely fused together. The clay with fibers still needs to be wrapped up with a tarpaulin and stored in a basement at a certain temperature and humidity for 3 years. Subtle changes will happen during those years. After that, the clay will become ideal for molding and sculpting.
现在有科学根据，然后现在是西方人研究的，因为这个方法不仅在中国人用，西方人也用。是因为它里边那个微生物发酵，微生物的增加使这个泥的可塑性可以增强。这一个系列的事情做下来，我可以保证的，我做的和其他人做的在相同的情况下做出来，那个泥是不一样的。这就是一个经验。
Zhang Yu may have advantages over other clay figure craftsmen, which comes from a family dedicated to clay figure art for generations. But he is also under great pressure. His forefathers have almost reached the peak of perfection, especially Zhang Mingshan, the initiator of clay figure Zhang, who is extremely talented. Influenced by parents who sold clay toys at times and masons in the neighborhood, Zhang Mingshan spent his childhood playing with mud. Tianjin was once a treaty port under unequal treaties during the late Qing dynasty. The clash between Chinese and Western cultures also made a tremendous impact on him. In the beginning, people didn't pay much attention to this silent kid who always played with mud alone. At the age of 8, after watching an interesting monkey show, he created a little mud monkey and showed it to the adults.
这号是你建的吗？是。不错。
The work was widely acclaimed for its vividness. Zhang Mingshan felt very proud. It has been about 180 years.
要说这个是用什么秘方做出来的，这个就可笑了。什么特殊技法做出来就可笑。
Transforming clay into vivid clay figures is the specialty of the Zhang family, and the art has been greatly developed by Zhang Mingshan, the initiator of clay figure Zhang.
他确实有这样的一种技术，但这个技术就像我们现在艺术家的书写功力一样，它就是一个日常的练习。
Zhang Mingshan often went to the fair to observe expressions and body language of passers-by and vendors, in the hope of vividly portraying people. By trial and error, he managed to mold and sculpt a vivid face in a few minutes. In those times, creating a clay figure just like a real person was a miracle.
看这脑门儿、鼻子眼儿的，哎，就是他，就是他，哎呀！
张明山所处那个年代，他没有摄影，没有照相，人们没有见过非常真实的这种人物的再现性的艺术作品，所以呢，看到他的作品，人们就觉得，哪怕你有8分像。
During the Daoguang period in the Qing dynasty, Yu Sansheng was the superstar in China, famous for his roles of Lao Sheng, old gentleman in Peking opera. The whole city of Tianjin turned out to welcome Yu. Zhang Mingshan was no exception. It was said that he created a vivid clay figure of Yu while watching his performance. Thus, in the city where well-known Chinese snacks such as Go Believe and Arduyen originated, emerged a craftsman nicknamed Clay Figure Zhang.
竹板这么一打呀，这事儿得夸夸。天津卫的泥人张名气真较大，一块烂泥巴3下2下，世间百态活灵活现，简直太神了。
Proud of clay figure Zhang, people in Tianjin played an important role in spreading his name. In the last 2 centuries, as the brand gained more popularity, Zhang Mingshan has become a legend.
他的作品是融汇了中国传统泥塑的一些规格，再加上西方艺术的一些写实的技法，借助了一些京剧名流，也就是演艺家们的宣传、口头宣传，来传播了他的名声。
In the age when Peking opera performers were revered as movie stars, Zhang Mingshan's clay figures were even sought after by Tan Xinpei, king of the Peking opera stage. Moreover, clay figure Zhang drew attention from the imperial family. A prince once hired Zhang to create clay figures exclusively for the court. However, after just over a year, reluctant to be restricted to certain subjects and styles, Zhang decided to leave quietly, at the risk of being wanted by the prince. He just couldn't stand losing his own pursuit of art.
更延年。
With the development of technology, an electric furnace is used by Zhang Yu to fire the clay figures at a stabilized temperature to make the paint more adhesive and durable. Whether dried in the shade or fired in the furnace, solid clay figures are different from hollow pottery and porcelain. Without expanding room, the dilated air will result in the cracks in the clay figure, making the mending process
红和绿搭配，黄和紫，它用的是色彩上比较忌讳的补色关系来搭配，但是它搭配起来所展示的效果却非常雅致。
Zhang Mingshan likes to travel around and make friends. Ren Bornian, one of the most prominent painters in modern China, was also his intimate friend. Zhang Mingshan used to live in Ren's house in Shanghai for many years. They learned from each other to make up deficiencies. Influenced by Ren, Zhang Mingshan developed a unique way of painting the clay figures. Nowadays, to make colours lasting, Zhang Yu will paint the base colour for dozens of times first. Then he will apply the painting techniques to details, such as patterns of the clothes. The most important part is the expression, which infuses life into the clay figure. Zhang Yu carries forward the family's tradition of combining realistic and freehand strokes, making his clay figures admirable on both macro and micro levels. As the fifth-generation exponent of clay figure Zhang, 71-year-old Zhang Naiying is glad to see his son Zhang Yu take over the family business. But as an artist, he also has his concerns.
追求艺术是很难的，这艺术高峰不是说一个接一个的，过去以后啊，你后人望尘莫及啊。你没有这个艺术成就的话，你就消失了。你是优秀的雕塑家，你是大师，看你自己了。
Every morning, Zhang Yu sends his son to school. However, in the past, every child of this family at his son's age would stay in the workshop to develop a taste for clay figures.
7点离开家，中午吃完饭就开始写作业，然后到晚上接到家5点多，再写一会儿作业，还能让他干什么？
Many people asked Zhang Yu whether his son would become the 7th-generation exponent of clay figure Zhang.
这个事情自己决定不了，时代因素、家庭因素都会决定这个事情，包括他们个人的喜好。 绝对不是我说的就能做到。个人来讲，也是一个很复杂的一个心态。还是那个，你要干就干好。
Clay figure Zhang has a history of 180 years. For 6 generations, it has been passed on from father to son. With acute observation and high artistic attainments, combining moulding and sculpting with painting, the Zhangs fully grasp shape and spirit of figures they portray. As Xu Beihong, a Chinese painting master, once remarked, the precision of the proportion, the understanding of the body structure, and the vividness of the expression all come to a rare perfection. As the summit of clay figure in China, clay figure Zhang was among the first ones listed as intangible cultural heritage of China. This folk art not only represents a legend of a family, but also a memory cherished by all the Chinese.